What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Deville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and Jorge Tapatios. Everyone knows, if you don't know, Jorge Tapatios has been training with Tyson Fury for the longest time now, maybe for about a week and a half or so. And he's been in his gym, Jorge's gym, training. And he was the one that was working the mitts for Tyson, as you guys seen him throwing those rapid fire combinations. Okay, that was Jorge Tapatios. All right. And he is very close to Jorge. Jorge has been his cut man in the past. You know, he had Stitch in his last fight because I guess he wanted the best, quote unquote, cut man in the business. But normally it's Jorge Tapatios. He uses him for his corner as far as cuts. Okay, he was the guy that was in his corner when Otto Vailin developed that cut on Fury's eye, or should I say those cuts on Fury's eyes the way they were. And he did a decent to mediocre job based on what he had to deal with. Because, I mean, let's face it, it was a jacked up cut or cuts. Those cuts were very deep. They were bloody and they were going into his eye. There was all over his face damn near on the right side. And, you know, that fight should have been stopped. It could have, should have, but it didn't. But, you know, I think if that was anybody else, that fight would have been stopped. That was a very bad cut, okay? But everything's fine and dandy. We know that he hasn't quit or sacked Javon Sugar Hill. He was just kidding. Mind games, as we know, as I just reported earlier. But what I want to talk to you guys is about Jorge Tapatios and Tyson Fury. I must counterpunch something that came to my attention that I just thought of. Jorge Tapatios was involved with one of the worst boxing scandals in boxing history. Okay, with Antonio Margarito and Sugar Shane Mosley back in 2009. Okay, where Nassim Richardson discovered he had some type of device or some type of object in his wraps. And when he unfolded the wrap, it fell out. Okay, and now Margarito said he didn't know what it was and this, that, and the other. And Jorge said that, oh, I made the wrong wraps. Look, that shit's just like saying, hey, yeah, I thought I shot that person with my taser, but it was actually my gun. Bullshit. You can't fool people with that. Okay? Now, I'm going to do a video on Cotto later, but this is just kind of a sneak peek on Jorge Tapatios and how he was involved in one of the worst fucking scandals in boxing. Okay, see, these scandals happen all the time, but he was the one that actually got caught. He got busted. He got Panama Lewis'd, right? That's what happened to him. And be that they found him guilty, they suspended him for a while, and, you know, Margarito got suspended for a year. And then he took blame for it, supposedly, I guess, not to throw Margarito completely under the bus, but let's face it, he knew the shit was there too. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only time you did that, when you already bring like a already pre-wrapped wrap and put the hands in, because at that point, the way they were doing it, they already had that part wrapped up, so you couldn't see the plaster of Paris in there. So he just put that on top and wrapped that around. But what Nassim Richardson seen, that didn't look right. It was too big. It was too bulky. That's how they caught his ass, because they made him unwrapped, and then it fell out on the ground, and they investigated, and then that's exactly what it was. Okay, so again, I will do a Cotto video separate from this. But what I'm saying about Tyson Fury, and I'm not a conspiracist, I want to make that clear before I say this. I would like to say that it doesn't look good for Tyson Fury to have someone like Jorge Tapatios doing mitts and all that shit around him. It doesn't. Now, I know he was a cut man before, but just knowing that he was there without seeing Javon Sugar Hill all these weeks, you know what I mean? It doesn't look good for someone that was blasted or accused of having something tampered with his gloves. You got a guy that has already been fucking busted. Think about what I'm saying. Jorge Tapatios been busted. Yes, I know that was in 2009. It was over 11 years ago. I get it. But at the end of the day, Hell no, wait a minute. 9 to 19, that's 10 years. 13. Yeah, 13 years ago, right? So I know that people shouldn't be held to the fire for the things they did in yesteryear. Or should I say, always held to the fire. Okay, I know this isn't a double jeopardy thing, but at the same time, it looks bad. And certain people will see this and run away with it, and they should. Because Tyson Fury's using a guy that's known to cheat. And I don't see how other people didn't catch on to this. You know what I mean? Because I sent this message to other people, you know what I mean, that have vested interest in seeing or believing that Tyson Fury was in fact cheating. You know, and I'm just surprised that no one came out with that beforehand. But it's true. See, if you want to talk about someone, Tyson Fury's never got caught cheating as far as gloves. You know, nandrolone increase in his system with the wild boar and all that shit. Yeah, sure. Right? But did he ever get caught cheating in a professional bout? Fuck Nicholas Asbury. I don't even care about what he does, because at the end of the day, you're sparring a guy. What guy do you know gonna wear new gloves each and every time he spars a person? Canelo doesn't do that. Pacquiao doesn't do that. No one really does that. The only person that probably would do that is Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather has brittle hands and he needs all the cushion he can get to salvage his hands. But not that other shit. That other shit, as far as that goes, with somebody sparring, just to clear that up, when somebody's sparring, they're going to use the gloves they're accustomed of using. Canelo has his own training gloves. So if they get a little worn and torn, okay, cool. That happens. It's like old sneakers a lot of times, especially when you're training and you're accustomed to how a boxing glove fits. But a lot of times, you got to replace them eventually. In that situation, they didn't replace them probably when they should have replaced them. But then again, how the hell does everybody get shoes or replace shoes at the same time? And the answer is no, they don't. Okay, so for him saying that and people gonna run with that, that's one thing. But this right here, with this guy, Jorge Tapatios, I wouldn't be caught anywhere near him. I can tell you this is bold as shit. I mean, he's not the only one that did it, people. You got to think about it. Juan Manuel Marquez got with Memo Heredia, the same guy that got popped because he was giving Olympians drugs undetected. Facts. Okay? But Juan Manuel Marquez used them anyway, and then he knocked out Manny Pacquiao in the fourth fight. You guys can remember that. That's what happened. So it is what it is. But using Jorge Tapatios, again, I don't want to make people feel that, like, hey, you do something wrong, you're always, you're always bound by it. That's not the truth. If that's the case, I would have been riding with that Tyson Fury shit. Once a cheat, always a cheat. You know what I mean? He cheated. He cheated 5 years ago. He cheated this year. He cheated last year. Whatever. Yeah. But I am saying it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Knowing that guy, you've been around that guy, don't pick up bad habits from that guy, because that guy was involved in one of the biggest scandals. And see, since the Tyson Fury has already been compared to Margarito, it doesn't look good at all. The same trainer that trained this motherfucker. Tapatios trained Margarito. Bars. He trained him. He was the one that was putting that shit in there for God knows how many fights. That guy. Okay? So before I don't want to get it twisted, okay? But I do want things to be out in the open and people realize who that guy really was. That's the same guy that was in Margarito's camp. Okay, so I hope he doesn't magically, quote unquote, slip some plaster of Paris in Tyson Fury's glove in the Anthony Joshua fight, because fucking with Joshua, then they decided they find that shit. Because someone like Rob McCracken, if that happened, people, just saying if, that would be the biggest fight that never happened. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Jorge Tapatios in the corner, working closely with Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.